Well, here we are again on another beautiful Thursday. It looks as though the rain has finally left us and we had a beautiful day today. Hope you got a chance to go outside and play and enjoy this weather. Today we're going back to Pete the Cat, Kimberley and James Dean's classic tales, and this time our buddy Pete the Cat, well, he's going camping. So, without further ado, let's jump right in and find out what kind of silly antics our boy Pete's going to get into here on Mr. Eric Reads. Pete is going camping with his family. This is his first camping trip. He cannot wait because camping sounds groovy. Pete and his brother Bob pack the car. They bring food, flashlights, fishing poles, and tents. "Hey, don't forget those sleeping bags," says Dad as he hands them to Pete. It is a long drive to that campsite, and finally they arrive. Pete's mom and dad set up the tents. Pete and Bob go deep into the woods. They collect some sticks to make a campfire. Pete and Bob decide to go for a hike after that. Bob shows Pete the footprints of all the animals who live in the forest. They see bear tracks and deer tracks, and one set of tracks looks like it belongs to maybe a raccoon. Just then a bunny hops past. He leaves another set of tracks in the dirt. Pete looks at the big footprint. "Far out," he says. "Look how big this is, Bob." Bob bends down. "Well, I don't know what animal made that," he says, "but I bet it's not something we want to run into." Bob and Pete make their way back to the campsite. Their dad is now waiting for them. "Come on now, boys," he says. "It's time to catch our dinner." Pete's dad holds up a fishing rod. "So, who wants to try?" Bob doesn't like fishing, so he stays at the campsite to help get the fire going. Pete wants to give it a try, so he and his dad go to the lake. They have to be very quiet so that they don't scare away the fish. Finally, Pete feels something tug on his line. He caught something. Pete and his dad bring their catch back to the campsite. "That was awesome," Pete says. "Look what I caught." Pete's mom takes the fish from him. She cleans it and cooks it over the campfire. It is delicious. Great job, Pete. After dinner, Pete and his family gather around the fire to keep warm. It keeps getting really dark outside. Pete looks up at the sky. He has never seen so many stars before. "How about a story?" Pete's dad asks. Bob jumps up. "I have one," he shouts. Bob tells Pete and his parents about a big, hairy giant who lives in the woods. "Every night he prowls the campsites looking for snacks," Bob says. "And in the morning, all that's left are the crumbs and giant footprints. In fact, his feet are so big that he is called Bigfoot." "Groovy story, Bob," Pete's mom says. "And speaking of snacks, who wants us some more?" Pete's dad gives everyone a stick to toast the marshmallows on. Pete's mom hands out the graham crackers and chocolate. Soon, everyone is enjoying a yummy dessert. But Pete can't stop thinking about Bob's story. I mean, what if Bigfoot is real? "Don't let Bob scare you," Pete's mom says. "No one has ever seen Bigfoot." "But if he is real," Pete's dad adds, giving Pete another marshmallow, "I bet he's friendly, and I bet he likes s'mores." So that gave Pete an idea. He decides to make a s'more for Bigfoot. That way, if he does come, he'll have a tasty snack. Soon it is time for bed. Pete's dad puts out the fire, and Pete and Bob head to their tent. Pete snuggles into his warm, cozy sleeping bag, but he can't sleep. The woods seem extra dark, and all the forest sounds seem extra loud. Suddenly, Pete hears a weird swooshing sound. He sits up and looks around. Bob, Pete says, what was that? Bob opens one eye and listens closely. Well, it's just the wind, he says finally. Pete can't sleep still. He hears a strange hooting sound. It's just an owl, Bob says. And that makes Pete think of his friend Owl, and he starts to feel better. And then he hears a loud chirping sound. That's just the crickets. Go to bed, Pete, says Bob. So Pete puts a pillow over his head. Maybe he can hide from the noises. Crack! Pete sits up again. Bob, did you hear that? He asks, but now Bob is fast asleep. Then Pete hears another crack. He listens carefully. Is it Bigfoot? Pete opens the tent and looks around, but it's too dark to see anything. The next morning, Pete is the first one up. He rushes outside and looks around. He doesn't see any broken branches, and there aren't any footprints. But then Pete sees the table. The s'more that he left for Bigfoot is gone, and in its place, there's a note. And it says, thanks for the treat, XOXO. And it's stamped with the biggest footprint Pete has ever seen. Pete shows the note to his family. Oh my goodness, I knew Bigfoot was real, Bob shouts. Pete smiles. He knows now that Bigfoot isn't scary. Just because he looks different doesn't mean that Pete should be afraid of him. Pete starts looking for more sticks. He can't wait to make another s'more for his groovy new friend, Bigfoot. The end. Again, that's Pete the Cat Goes Camping here on Mr. Eric Reads. I hope you guys enjoyed that story. I'm going to thumb through and I'm going to tell you guys what we're going to have next. Ooh. Tomorrow, on Friday, Pete the Cat and the treasure map. So, as always, guys, please continue to stay safe. Please continue to wash your hands. And please continue to practice kindness in everything you do and to everybody you meet. Take care, and I'll see you guys around.